So it's in their interest to resolve this. We hope to convince them to play a more active role in getting Iran to walk away from what they're doing now and trying to do now in the Persian Gulf.
As tensions over Iran continue to spiral, the United States is now turning to China for help in preventing a wider regional war. Calling it in China's interest, Rubio appealed to Beijing to pressure Iran over escalating tensions in the Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz. Rubio's comments came even as Trump denied needing China's assistance, exposing mixed signals from Washington ahead of the high-stakes Xi summit in Beijing. As the U.S. looks for Chinese cooperation, Vice President J.D. Vance said Washington still sees progress in sensitive nuclear negotiations with Iran.
Yeah, so look, obviously these negotiations are very sensitive. I'm not going to tell you everything because we're trying to have a productive conversation.
The diplomatic churn comes as Trump begins his first China visit since 2017, with Iran, trade, and regional security dominating talks with Xi Jinping. As Donald Trump arrived in China for crucial talks with Xi Jinping, Secretary of State Marco Rubio publicly urged Beijing to step in on Iran. Rubio said China has a major interest in helping calm the growing turmoil in the Gulf amid fears of wider regional instability. The U.S. Secretary of State made the remarks during an interview with Fox News host Sean Hannity aboard Air Force One. Rubio's comments came as Trump kicked off a high-stakes two-day China visit, with Taiwan, Iran, and trade dominating the agenda.
Well, of all the countries of the world, economies are melting down because of this crisis in the Straits. They're going to be buying less Chinese product, and the Chinese exports are going to drop precipitously. So it's in their interest to resolve this. We hope to convince them to play a more active role in getting Iran to walk away from what they're doing now and trying to do now in the Persian Gulf. We've made clear to them, that any support for Iran would obviously be detrimental for our relationship. That obviously is going to come up in this conversation. On trade, look, the United States is very clear. We have to be able to make our own stuff. We cannot depend on China or any country for that matter for 100% of anything that we need.
He also warned that any prolonged disruption in the Strait of Hormuz could severely damage China's economy and global exports. The remarks came just a day after Trump insisted the United States does not need China's help in dealing with Iran.
Do you think he needs to intervene at all with the Iranians?
I don't think
he can help in any way?
No, I don't think we need any help with Iran.
Yeah. Do you think President Xi can help and contribute to a deal with Iran?
He could. I mean, it might be. I don't think we need any help with Iran, to be honest with you.
Meanwhile, Vice President J.D. Vance revealed that Washington is still making progress in sensitive nuclear negotiations with Tehran.
On Iran, can you tell us where negotiations stand? The president, before he left for Beijing, called the latest proposal unacceptable. So is the U.S. even talking to the Iranians right now, or where are things at this point?
Yeah, so look, obviously these negotiations are very sensitive. I'm not going to tell you everything because we're trying to have a productive conversation. I spent a good amount of time on the phone with both Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff this morning, a number of our friends in the Arab world this morning. Look, I think that we are making progress. The fundamental question is, do we make enough progress that we satisfy the president's red line? And the red line is very simple. He needs to feel confident that we've put a number of protections in place such that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon.
Meanwhile, Iran has ruled out a second round of talks with the United States unless Washington agrees to 5 key trust-building conditions set by Tehran. Iran has reportedly ruled out a second round of talks with the U.S. unless 5 trust-building conditions are met. Tehran has listed 5 conditions that it is calling the minimum guarantees needed to revive negotiations with Washington. Fast News Agency reported the conditions on May 12, citing what it described as an informed source. Fast News Agency citing a source said, and I quote, "Iran's conditions include ending the war on all fronts, especially Lebanon, lifting sanctions, releasing frozen Iranian assets, compensating for war damage and recognizing Iran's sovereignty rights over the Strait of Hormuz." Iran also informed Pakistani mediators that the continuation of the U.S. naval blockade in the Arabian Sea and Gulf of Oman after the ceasefire has further reinforced Tehran's distrust toward negotiations with the United States. Unquote. Iran appears to believe that renewed talks cannot move forward unless those conditions are implemented in practical terms. Fars also framed the issue as a U.S. effort to secure at the negotiating table what it failed to achieve during the war. At the same time, Iran's government spokesperson said Tehran is choosing diplomacy while still keeping its finger on the trigger.
Also, we are waiting with our finger on the trigger, God willing, for our negotiating atmosphere. Because our main outlook is toward lasting peace and, as stated by the martyred leader, we pursue diplomatic matters based on 3 principles: dignity, wisdom, and expediency. Therefore, The people should know that Iran's atmosphere is an atmosphere of firmness, construction, development, and trust.